Hello, everybody. It is Matt, and it is Fiendish Friday, and I am back at you with yet another review. Before I roll on any of that, I want to wish each and every one of you a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk, all that lovely stuff, because life really is too short as is. Do me a really huge favor and like, share, and subscribe. I love seeing your beautiful faces when you are here. I know I'm here an awful lot, but I have an awful lot on my plate to review. And one last little tidbit of information. Check out the description box. I give you a bigger bite of every single movie of every single day. Today I give you a brief synopsis, starring cast, director, runtime of the cut I am watching, a link for a trailer, and if you decide, you can help support Matt's Movie Mania and toss me a couple of bucks. Now that we got all that said, mind, and all that out of the way, let's roll on to the film of the day. All right, it is another one from our good friend from across the pond, Jason Impey. It is More Sex, Lies, and Depravity. Wow, starring Wade Radford as Ethan. Ethan is an absolute just powder keg of destruction. Like I really like Ethan's character. I think he's the bee's knees, but he's kind of an asshole. But anyways, this movie is really good. It came out back in 2013. Runs at about an hour and 35 minutes with the credits. I'm a nerd, so I watch all the credits. A lot of it is because, you never know if you'll find a little tidbit of an Easter egg at the end of the credits, which is nice. So I always just kind of hang out and watch that just to see who worked on the movie and so on and so forth. And then there's no rating on it. I wasn't able to find you a link for where to buy this one. I imagine you could probably find it on like eBay or maybe Amazon UK. I don't know if it's available here stateside. Not 100%. I know that you can watch the first one on Tubi for free, and I believe it's available stateside on DVD only. But this one is a standalone sequel to that. It is. It does have a brief, kind of like flashback summary of what happens in the first film of the series, which it is a trilogy. I will be eventually doing the third one. It'll be next month sometime. But either way, like I said, you get this kind of refresher, which is nice because it's been a hot minute since I've watched the first one, so it was nice to get a little quick, like, oh yeah, I forgot about Jake and his BS that he was doing in the first one, and the final showdown, the finale of it. It really was quite the finale. So you pick up with this one, and it's months later. Ethan is now recuperated. He is with his boyfriend, and he is basically pulling the same Ethan things. Like he's being shady at moments. He owes a local dealer like 1,500 quid, which I'm not sure. I didn't look that up to see how much that transfers into American dollars, but either way, I'm sure that's a lot of money, because he definitely does not have it. There's new characters that are introduced to the storyline that are really nice. There's characters that come back. And then you have the continuation of Jake's story as well, because Jake does come back up at I'm going to lower this just a bit. There we go. Jake does pop back up at the very ass end of this movie in the finale. I will give that away. I'm not going to give away too much about it. My voice is sounding awfully gravelly today. I think it's because I'm really tired today, guys, and the weather is really crappy here. So I'm just kind of like dragging ass bad. Thank goodness for Red Bull. Not a sponsor, by the way. Red Bull sponsor me. God dang it. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, it's a really interesting ride throughout this one. You can't help but root for Ethan's boyfriend. The poor kid just wants Ethan to give up his shady ways and just be his lover and just have a good life and settle down and do things that normal couples do, things like that. So I kind of feel bad for him in ways, because he's been shunned by his mother and double shunned by her, because he also, in the first one, he is a very, very accomplished ice skater, and he has given up that as well. So he's got the double shunning kind of thing going on. Like, his mom is really upset with him, not only because he quit that, but also because he is gay. She is one of those that's stuck in like 1957 and thinks that gay people should hang out in the closet all day. Not cool. Either way, eventually you get to meet Ethan's mom, who is an interesting bird herself. Definitely one of those characters that I didn't like her. I thought she came off, at first she comes off as kind of like, she seems like she's actually a caring mother, but then Ethan shows up and things get a little hairy, and next thing you know, Ethan's boyfriend is even yelling at Ethan's mom, which is like, whoa, because he's like super pacifist in the first one and in this one. So it was kind of a shock to see his boyfriend go a little goofy. But anyways, on to the three things that I love my movies to me. First thing is audio. The audio in this one it's good for the foremost. There's a couple of parts where it was a little harder to understand what the characters were saying, especially in particular a scene where the drug dealer that Ethan owes money, him and his crony, his sidekick, his whatever you want to call him, his security, they both take this girl who we know from the first one. I can't remember her name for the life of me right now. I'm sorry. But she's working at this local pub, the local pub that we met Ethan in the first one in. So it's a familiar place, but a familiar place with a familiar character. But they harangue her in the alleyway, and there's cars going by, and I understand you want the outside ambiance and you want it to stay true to what it would sound like in real life, but it kind of drowned it out, the dialogue a little bit, so I kind of had to rewind it back a couple of times and re-listen to what was being said and turn up the volume a little bit as well. But so I'm gonna give it an A, but it's not gonna be like an A plus or an A. It's more like an A minus, I'll say. Now onto the dialogue. The dialogue is great. That's one thing I always like about Jason's films. Jason always has interesting dialogue. Whether it's a horror film, a drama like this, or any other film that he does, I'd love to see him do a comedy. I'm curious if he could pull one off. He's a good enough director. I think that he could pull off a really good comedy. I think it would just be fun to see him do that. So Jason, try doing a comedy sometime, man. I think it'd be fun. But anyways, onto the dialogue again. The dialogue is very good, very catchy. Granted, this film is 11 years old. It still sounds good and hip and for the foremost. So I'm going to give it an A plus on that end. Now on to the editing. The editing is very fine in this. It has a nice momentum. I never got bored with this. Granted, it does have a after you have that first little flashback montage, the first like 15-20 minutes of this is a pinch slow moving, but once you get past that, it's all smooth sailing, so, all the way after that. So don't let a slow start pull you down and not let you watch something that you could miss out on something good. So I'm going to give it an A on the the editing for this. I think it ran at a good time. None of the scenes lingered or anything or drug on too long. It really just felt a lot more streamlined and a lot easier of a watch than part one. Granted, I like part one more because there's just so much more action going on. Granted, this one is chock full of action. So it's a very good standalone sequel in my opinion. Now, as far as that 1 through 5 scale goes, it's not a 5. I'm going to give this one a solid 4. I think that, like I said, the first is better. I'm really excited for part 3. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's something Sex Lies and Depravity. It should be called No More Sex Lies and Depravity. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, I'm going to get the hell out of here. You guys have a fantastic weekend. I'll be back at you Sunday with yet another review. And then so on. And next week is Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And then, you know, the routine every other day. All right, guys. Love your faces. Peace.